The leaks were real. The 10th generation of Pokemon has been revealed under the names Winds and Waves, and for the first time in a while, I'm actually very optimistic of what we've seen so far. Let's start off with how the games look. Holy shit, I knew Game Freak had it in them to actually produce good-looking games if they were actually given the proper resources to make it happen. The water actually looks like real water, the Pokemon seem way more lively, and they brought back the realistic textures from Scarlet and Violet, dialing them up even more for Pokemon like Slugma who now glow in the dark. That's a really cool detail. This game factually is a graphical step up from both Scarlet and Violet and Legends ZA in every way, and it makes me so happy that they're seemingly taking their time to make sure that these games actually look good. They even started off the trailer with the windmill just to show off how much they improve. You can't convince me they didn't do that shit on purpose. It's nice to see that Game Freak are actually taking advantage of the Switch 2's power to produce something that looks like a real game. And speaking on that really quick, the Nintendo Pokemon cycle continues, and I swear to God you cannot make this shit up. People were complaining about the fact that the Switch 2 wasn't worth the purchase due to a lack of exclusives. And you know what? If you ignore the fact that the console has been out for less than a year, you might be onto something. So what does Game Freak and the Pokemon Company do? Plan to release the next generation of the franchise exclusively on the Switch 2. How was this received? People being mad about the fact that the game isn't being released on Switch 1. So what the fuck do y'all want? I really need y'all to be realistic for a second. We understand that the Switch 1 was capable of running some beautiful games. Mario Odyssey is one of the best looking games on the console, but the difference is that team was actually competent, and even then that same team had to move Bonanza over to next gen because the Switch 1 just could not handle what they were aiming for with that game. No shade, but Game Freak needed the extra power from the Switch 2 to assure that this game is at acceptable standards, because in the big 2026 we cannot afford another Scarlet and Violet. As much as I like those games, I still cannot believe they released them in the state that they were in. Switch 2 exclusive was the right move, and again, you can't complain about the shit having no exclusives then turn around and be mad at the game isn't coming to Switch 1. It sounds silly. Xbox and PlayStation have done irreparable damage to people's perception by still supporting Xbox One and PS4 6 years after the current gen consoles came out. Sorry, my bad. 7, since fucking Mega Man is releasing on PS4 in 2027, but that's a video for another day. Also, really quick, I want to chime in and say that there's been more debates about that where people are saying that the ones that are complaining about the game not being on Switch 1 and the people that are complaining about the Switch 2 not having exclusives are not the same groups of people, but you can never really tell when it comes to discussions like this because shit like that will always overlap. So I'm gonna talk about it regardless. It doesn't really fucking matter to me. I will say though, I am a bit worried about the game being open world again. Scarlet and Violet were an alright attempt at the idea, but I don't feel like they entirely struck the landing. Outside of the graphics and performance, I feel like the game design was a bit off. You can tackle any of the major battles in any order you want, but these fights don't scale to your level, so you can very much fight the first intended gym leader, which is like level 12 or some shit, then go fight the final intended gym leader, and that motherfucker could be like 40 plus. Good luck if you decide to do that, by the way. If you're going to continue to go the open world route and allow players to choose how they want to progress the story, the game should scale with you. At least the boss battles. I think the idea of running into a level 70 plus Pokemon with one badge is actually really funny and low-key terrifying, and that would add a new layer of fun to the game. The boss battle scaling with you would also add more replayability to the game. You can do different runs where you're taking different routes through the story. No one playthrough will ever be like the last one. To add to that, this probably won't happen, but it'd be really cool if you had the option to choose where you start on the map to really make your adventure different from someone else's, but again, that's wishful thinking. The trailer also showed off that you'd be able to explore underwater, and I'm telling you right now, there's so much potential with this and I need them to get this right. Underwater cavern systems and dungeons would be so fucking cool, and also just seeing how the Pokemon behave down there in general. Speaking of the Pokemon, I need this to be the biggest regional dex that we've gotten. One of Legends EA's glaring issues was the size of the dex. Out of all 1025 Pokemon, only 230 appear in the game. 364 after the DLC, but this creates a problem where the trainers tend to have the same Pokemon over and over again, and in some not so rare cases, the exact same team composition as another trainer, which becomes very boring very fast, which I also think is really funny because the other games that take place in this exact same region have the biggest and most vast regional decks that we've ever had out of any of the games, which is really funny to me. And we had less options back then too, so I don't know what the problem was with this. And With how vast the region looks, we need a good variety of Pokemon to fill up the different environments. And on that topic also, please make these motherfuckers actually interact with the environment in unique ways. In the past, it just feels like they were there walking around not really doing shit. They should be doing the shit that the Pokédex entries say that they do. I don't know if this goes in this section or not, but if following Pokemon is back, please, I'm begging you, just get it right. There's absolutely no reason why after 6 games on the Switch with the feature, only one of them got it right. And it was the very first one too. How do you even manage to fuck that up 5 more times? The leaks were suggesting that the hoverboard that the player characters, the design's really ugly by the way, will act as a syncing machine to let you control the Pokemon like you could in Blueberry Academy. And if that's true, that's actually a really cool idea and would make exploring the earth, the land, the sea, and sky a lot more efficient. Did you see what I did there? I hope you see what I did there. While remaining on the topic of the Pokemon, let's finally talk about the starters. I am mixed on them, to be honest. Brout kind of just looks like a green bird with a leaf unibrow. Pombon is actually starting to grow on me and is low-key the best designed of the 3, but so help me God, if this little shit stands up on 2 legs in its final evolution. Gekwa is also starting to grow on me. I have an agenda to keep up by always picking the water starter, but if we get another water type in this region that looks way more worth it, he will be getting replaced by Pombon. Unless that little shit stands up on 2 legs, and this starter is it's not happening with any of them. But I will say, in the middle of me recording all of that, it dawned on me that Brout can low-key be called Bushy Brow, like Rock Lee, if he keeps the leaf eyebrows throughout the course of his design. And if he becomes a fighting type, then I think Bushy Brow, that's kind of hard. I'm not gonna lie. So I think Brout kind of just went up a little bit as I was thinking about that. So you know what? They're all starting to grow on me now. The only way I'll accept Pombon ending up on 2 legs is if it ends up looking cool as hell like Incineroar does. But I need to address that. I don't agree with a lot of Pokemon design discourse. There's people out there who can say with a straight face that Popplio isn't goated. Like Alola isn't one of 2 regions where all 3 starters are perfect. The other one is Sinnoh, by the way. Aside from Skeledirge and Primarina, it feels like they've given up on making the final evolutions look like fucking monsters, and it's annoying. Again, this is Pocket Monsters. I would like for them to start looking like monsters again. Swampert looks like a beast. Feraligatr does too. What happened to designs like this? Also, this might sound weird, but I'm kind of tired of the water starter always being based on some kind of water-based creature. And I know that doesn't make any sense when you say it out loud, but just hear me out for a second. My favorite types of Pokemon are the ones where they take a creature that has seemingly no relation to the type that it's gonna be, and they turn it into something that fits that theme. A fire cat, a fire monkey. You know, there are no fire breathing cats or monkeys in real life. Why can't we get a water cat or a water monkey or a water dog or something, or a fucking water table or some shit? Like just something that hasn't been done before. We have a turtle, we have a penguin, several amphibians. I want something more unique next time. I really hope that made sense, because I feel like somebody's not gonna get it. Yeah, from what I've seen in the leaks, the game will be adapting Legends Arceus' style of turn-based battling, and on one hand, I like the battles in that game, so I'm fine with that. However, I was also a fan of the real-time battles of ZA, so I'm kinda sad that they're not being used, which is an unfortunate drawback of the Legends series existing. I love the Legends games. Some of the most fun I've had with mainline, yes, mainline Pokemon, just because you personally don't think it's mainline doesn't mean it's not, stop being weird about it, in a while. But the mechanics they've introduced, mainly the Pokemon trying to murder you in cold blood, and being able to catch them outside of battle, probably are gonna remain Legends exclusive mechanics, which is honestly disappointing. So while it would be fun to do shit like that in the main series, I'll just accept that it's staying in Legends. What else would be cool? Oh, we can finally have some fucking voice acting, perhaps? 30 years later, I think it's time we finally grow up and let these damn characters have voices. I was never that big on caring about this, but ZA for some reason felt unusually sluggish without it, and it was what made me feel like we genuinely need this shit now. It can honestly be handled in a similar way to Persona. The most important conversations are voiced, while simple NPC and trainer dialogue isn't. I feel like that shouldn't be too difficult to pull off, and we need a speed up function on these text boxes. I like reading and all, but but this shit is starting to get real boring now. My smooth monkey brain needs sound to focus. Comprehensively, Pokemon Winds and Waves is looking very promising so far. I like what I'm seeing, and I really hope that Game Freak lives up to the expectations that they are setting for themselves this time. It's genuinely nice to hear a majority of people being positive about a project from this franchise for once, and hopefully it isn't misplaced. This game isn't coming out until 2027, which shocked me when I saw it. But let's see where things go from here. If we're following the Legend ZA pattern, we more than likely won't see anything else on this game until June of next year. But since we're still in the year of the Pokemon 30th anniversary celebration, we might be getting some info this year. Who knows? I also lied because we got information on ZA in February of the following year from when it was revealed, not June. So that wasn't correct, but you get the point that I'm trying to make. Regardless, I'll be back to talk about it when the next bit of info drops. Until then, make sure you're eating your bologna and other assorted deli meats.